We also have Travis Homer and we have Amon Richards coming later. So you have them, then you have Casey McDermott, you got Charles Perry, and Gage.
Yeah.
So you got all these players from Palm Beach repping Miami, and then you have the head coaches from both. So what can you tell me about the Palm Beach County representation here in Miami?
I mean, it must be something special going on in Palm Beach County for all of us to be here. You know.
What about the rest of the players, like Amon and Travis? Tell me about those two.
I haven't personally played against Travis, but I watched a lot of his film, and I know he can make plays, you know, wherever you put him. Amon Richards, he can play on defense or offense. I guess if we have him at receiver here, but he's just a difficult guy to go up against. And it's always a fun matchup.
They have questions for you.
Zach, just kind of take us through a little bit what it's been like to be out here getting used to the college game these past couple weeks.
It's a lot more fast-paced, but I mean, once you're in it and you get the hang of it, it's not really so much different. I mean, the people are bigger, it's hard to see over them, but they're just as easy to hit. So, you know, it's not that much of a change in that regard.
What do you think is the biggest advantage a player gets when they come in and do this versus coming in May or June?
Well, you come in that late, you have to start worrying about getting in the playbook and facing other teams right away, and that's a lot to handle with, you know, going to classes and whatnot. But here, I mean, I'm facing my own teammates. It's a lot of practice. It's like I get a long period of practice just with them. I get to know my teammates, you know, and it's better for me to advance forward instead of, you know, having to stress out, not making as much progress.
What do you think are the biggest things you've gained from being here early? You specifically?
Football IQ a little bit. You know, in high school, not that I didn't pay attention to it as much, but it was just really simple. I mean, high school offenses versus college offenses, and I'm just learning, you know, picking up on things I guess every linebacker should know. Apart from that, I'm learning different, you know, I'm picking up a different sense of urgency. I've always liked to play fast and play hard, but here everybody can play fast and play hard. So
everything right on the field, so I just try to do what he does when I'm out there.
From your perspective, how big was it to get here early, to be a part of this, and not wait until May?
It was such a big part. I you know, if I could do it again, I'd do the same thing, because just to get here and get this experience under my belt before fall starts, I'm happy I did it. Man.
So you're competing to be the backup quarterback, or are you like playing some redshirt? Like, what's sort of your?
I'm just working hard every day, and I'm not even worried about that. I'm just letting the coaches take care of the depth chart. I'm just trying to be the best me.
They haven't given you any kind of indication.
FOOTBALLVILLE here with Mr. Pinkney out of Duval. You been back home since you been out here?
Nah, I ain't going home.
You ain't going home? Nah, why you say it like that? You focused?
Yeah, I'm focused. I mean, I'm here. I came early for a reason, and most of that, it's kind of like my home too, because I got all my family really down here, so I get to go just to Carol City, and that's really home too. So.
Okay, so you got family here in Carol City. Okay, where you from? From Miami then? Okay, yeah. Heard the young linebackers out there, y'all look good. How many young?
On Saturday scrimmage, I thought the first 20 plays, I thought defense played well, and the offense kind of started pushing back. In the next 25 plays, it was all offense, and then second half it kind of balanced back out. We're trying to not only learn what we're doing, but also trying to learn to sort of fight back when things aren't going well, and how to respond to adversity. So it was a good learning experience for all those things.
Manny, you told somebody that maybe on the radio that the defense still lacks the mental toughness to win this fall. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I think that's what we're talking about. In a spring practice, there's normally you want a healthy back and forth, but you don't want to be so dramatic where when one side pushes, the other side doesn't resist. And that's what we're trying to learn to do, is that we play in a very competitive league. We expect to play in very competitive games. We showed them the other day. Coach Rick showed the team that the ACC has the highest percentage of games decided by 7 points or less in all of college football. So we have to expect to be in tight games. So we have to be able to, expect that the teams are going to go on runs. They're going to battle back. They're going to make plays, and you got to be able to stand up and make a stand when things aren't going well.
The other thing is Shaq Quarterman. I think he started maybe in the scrimmage. How's he doing, and how are the other young linebackers, the early enrollees, doing?
All three of those linebackers have really adapted well. They're all very mature individuals. They're all really good learners. You can tell that they were all very well coached in high school. So they have been, more than anything, they've been unfazed of being on a stepping onto this field. And then you can also see that they have no burden of the past. I mean, everything to them is they're undefeated, and they're excited to see what being a Miami Hurricane is all about.
One more thing. Do you think it helps them? I think maybe that's what you're saying a little bit, that you're the first coaching staff they've had.
In some ways, I think there's always an unlearning process, and a lot of things aren't all that different, but it may just be a different way you describe how to do something. So certainly when you do come in with a blank slate, I think in some ways that you don't have to unlearn as much, so that might help them out a little bit.
Coach, coming off the scrimmage, defensive line in particular, who elevated themselves, moved up, second team moved, first team, if anybody.
Really with the way we're handling the defensive line right now, all those guys are really kind of mixing in with the first and second team groups. A, because that's probably how we're going to be in the fall, and then B, at this point we don't want anyone to think that they've figured it out and that they've arrived. So, with the inside guys, we really feel like coming out of the scrimmage we had 5 guys that are not all that separate from each other. Now, is that a good thing? Now, at what level are they at? But I know that we feel good about having 5 that we can rotate and play with depth, and I think that's going to define us a little bit in the fall.
Ideally, would you like more than that to rotate, and you rotated any other positions besides the interior guys?
No, I think no. The whole
major depth chart changes.
Offensively, we really didn't do anything. We're just rotating guys, teaching, getting everybody reps and evaluating. Like even the quarterback position, I'm just keeping my same role. I got Kyle with the 1s and everybody else is rolling with the 2s, and it was kind of luck of the draw in the scrimmage. If a guy had one play and it was a fumble, then that was his series, and the next guy we just kind of rotated that way. And defensively, they may have done a little bit more movement there, and I'll be honest with you, I hadn't spent a lot of time watching their depth chart, but I did talk with the staff yesterday, defensive staff yesterday, about every player, how they're doing, and all that kind of thing. Because I need that input. I'm spending so much time with the offense, but we're getting there.
Coach, can it be sometimes easier? I know Manny Diaz was saying how great the early enrollee defensive players and linebackers doing, and I was thinking maybe it's a little easier when you come in and you haven't had another step. There's no transition. This is your first step.
The reason why the mid-years are truly at an advantage, and might be the point you're making, is everybody's learning new. Usually, let's say I've been here 3 years and I got 5 mid-years. Well, I'm installing at veteran pace. I'm going. I'm not waiting for the mid-years to figure it out. But because we're installing at first day pace for everybody, then they kind of got it at the pace that was better for them. Because typically mid-year kids come in and we're putting things in so fast because everybody knows what to do. Everybody on the team should know what to do except for a mid-year enrollee, and that's why we go veteran pace. But this year veteran pace is the same as a first day on the job kind of deal.
And I know you mentioned that you've primarily obviously been with the offense, but what have you seen from that group
defensively?
The 3 linebackers specifically.
The young guys?
Yes.
They made, really, I thought the top 2 plays, and Manny might have mentioned it, but top 2 plays in the scrimmage to me was when Quarterman, stuck his hat on the ball. He was the one that caused that fumble that was a scoop and score. And it was textbook with the way he approached, and great football position, and he struck the runner, and his hat was right on the ball, popped the ball out, and was a scoop and score touchdown. And then later in the scrimmage, they had an all-out blitz on, and I got brain lock on Pinckney. He's on the blitz, and then we throw a screen, and then he turns and runs like a madman, and he clips the heels of the back, who would have easily got a first down and maybe even a touchdown. And so it was like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, and that thing's about to go a long way, if not a touchdown. And because of his effort, he clips him just in time to keep him short of the first down, force a punt, and maybe a play like that can win the game. Both those plays. So there was other things that happened that were good, but it's nice to see those kids come in and make that kind of impact right away.
Couple more questions, guys.
Behind Steve, I don't want to crown anybody. It seems though Stacy is, a top guy, as a receiver. I'm just curious where you're seeing a little bit of separation behind him.
Well, the guy that I think is the most ready to play every down and do the right thing and do it well is Braxton. Okay, and then, we're really kind of counting on the rest of those guys to continue to work and pick up the pace. Just keep improving. I'm embarrassed to say, but I know number 9. I can't think of his name right now. Lewis. Sorry, Malcolm Lewis and your family. I'm getting there. All right, but Malcolm, I see him making a push toward being very reliable receiver right now. you know, both Langham and 18, this Cager, they have got the ability, but they're still, I don't know how to say it other than they're still developing. They're still obviously learning what to do, but I need them to play big. They're big men. They're not super fast guys, but they're big men, so they got to play big. Right now they're not playing big. They're playing like they're about 6 foot. In reality, they're about 6'4", 6'5". Okay, so then it's not bad. It's just not what I think, what I see them becoming. They're not there. They're not there.
Briefly,
Last question, guys.
What's the install process for those 3 freshmen and then maybe the JUCO kid you got?
We just
at receiver.
Say I didn't understand the question.
Yeah, just briefly the install process for the 3 freshmen and the JUCO kid.
Okay, you're talking about receivers.
At receiver, yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be as soon as they. Well, first of all, we can send them little not video, but little playbook stuff right now if we want to. But the problem is when you send stuff to them and you're not there to coach it and teach it, is they tend to learn it wrong. Mm-hmm. So the good news is they'll be here all of June, all of July, and their teammates will be out here throwing and catching. And there's video playbook to study from. We'll have our installation. Our installation will be prepared relatively quick, so all summer long the kids can be looking at what we're going to install in the fall. Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, everybody. Have a great day.
You too.